The war had ended. Or at least, that's what the messages said. Captain Elias moved carefully through the ruins of Sector 12, boots crunching over broken metal and ash. Smoke still hung in the air, thick and gray. The city had been turned to dust. The sky was red from fire, and the wind carried the sound of dying machines. He was alone. His team had gone back to base, but he stayed behind, to make sure no one was left behind. That's when he saw her. Near the wreckage of a crashed drone, something moved. Not big, just a small shape, maybe the size of a teenager. Elias raised his rifle, aiming carefully. He stepped closer. It was a person. A girl. Maybe not human. She wore a black suit, burned and torn in many places. Her face was covered by a silver mask. Her chest rose and fell slowly. She was breathing, but just barely. One leg was twisted under her, and purple blood stained the ground. Beneath her body. "Don't move!" Elias shouted. She didn't. Her head turned slightly. She looked at him, but he couldn't see her eyes through the dark visor. Then she spoke, a whisper. Faint, but clear. "Please, don't hand me over." Elias frowned. "What are you?" "I'm dying," she said softly. "But not from your bullet. I'm already broken." Elias looked around. No drones nearby, no patrols. He knelt beside her, rifle still aimed. "You're the enemy," he said. "Your kind burned whole colonies." "I'm not like them," she whispered. "I tried to stop them, but they turned on me." Elias didn't believe her, but something in her voice felt honest, like she had nothing left to lie for. "What's your name?" he asked. "I don't have one anymore," she said. "They erased it when I betrayed them." "Why are you wearing a mask?" She didn't answer. Instead, she reached up with a shaking hand and grabbed his sleeve. "If I die," she whispered, "remove my mask, and you'll know why I couldn't show my face." Her hand dropped. She passed out. Elias looked at her, confused and unsure. He should have called command. He should have reported her. But instead, he picked her up. She was light, almost weightless, like her body had already given up. Elias carried her across the broken street, under a collapsed bridge, into the shadows. He had a hidden bunker there, one he used during recon missions. It was small, dark, and cold, but safe. He laid her on a soft blanket. Then he checked her wounds. Her skin was pale blue, cold to the touch. Not quite human, but not like the others either. No tattoos, no implants, no weapons. She was breathing, barely. He bandaged her leg, gave her water through a tube, and waited. Hours passed. She woke up in the middle of the night, gasping. Elias rushed to her side. "You're safe," he said. "You're not bleeding anymore." She looked around, confused. "You didn't turn me in?" "Not yet," Elias said. "Still thinking about it." She gave a small, tired smile. "Thank you." "Don't thank me. I still don't trust you." She nodded slowly. "You shouldn't." The next morning, Elias cooked a meal, dried protein and rice. He offered her a bowl. She didn't touch it. "It's not sealed," she said. "What?" "I can't eat food unless it's sealed," she explained. "It could be poisoned." "You think I'd poison you?" "I don't know," she said softly. "Maybe not, but I've been hunted before." Elias watched her. She didn't look dangerous, but her body moved with silent skill. She had soldier instincts. He finally asked, "Why do you speak Earth standard so well?" She was silent for a moment. Then she said, "Because I learned from your people." Later, while checking the radio, Elias heard something strange. His commander's voice crackled through the speaker. "Captain Elias, report immediately. Someone saw you near Sector 12 carrying an unknown body. Return to base for questioning." Elias shut off the radio. He turned toward the girl. "Someone saw me." She looked down. They'll come for you now, too. Why? Elias demanded. Why are you so important? She shook her head. I can't tell you. Not yet. He stepped forward, angry now. You think I'm risking everything for nothing? She raised her hand slowly. I'm sorry, she said. If you want to leave me, you can. I won't stop you. Elias stared at her, then turned away. That night, as she slept, Elias stayed, awake. He stared at the silver mask. What was she hiding? Why did her voice tremble when she talked about her past? And what did she mean by remove my mask when I die? He didn't understand, but something deep inside told him. This girl was more than she seemed. The next morning he brought her sealed food. She smiled. Thank you. You'll need strength, he said. They'll come soon. She nodded. I know. Elias sat beside her. I want the truth, he said. She looked at him, silent. Then she whispered, If I tell you how you might hate me. Try me. She took a deep breath. My mask hides my face. But also, my bloodline. What do you mean? I'm not just one of them, she said slowly. I was made, not born. A child of forbidden science. A living secret. Elias felt cold. Why tell me this? Because I don't want to die with lies, she whispered. You saved me. I owe you truth. She reached for his hand. If I don't survive, she said, please, remember to remove the mask. You'll understand everything when you see who I really am. Elias nodded slowly, but in his heart, he feared what he might see. It was still dark when Elias woke up to a strange sound. Not a voice, not a machine, but a soft hum coming from her mask. The girl was sitting up, her head low, both hands pressed tightly to the sides of her helmet. Her body was shaking like she was fighting something inside herself. Elias grabbed his weapon and rushed over. Hey, what's happening? She didn't answer. Her suit was glowing faintly, like something inside was trying to activate. Elias saw tiny red symbols flashing across her chest plate, letters he couldn't read. Stop it, he shouted. You're going to give away our location. Still no answer. Elias dropped to his knees and grabbed her hands. They were cold, stiff. Look, at me, he yelled. Then she gasped, and the glow stopped. Her body went still again. The red light faded. The suit powered down, her breathing slowed. She looked up at him, weakly. I almost lost control, she said in a soft, broken voice. They planted something inside me. Before I escaped. What kind of something? Elias asked. She didn't speak for a long time. Then she said just one word. Weapon. Elias stood up and stepped away, shocked. You're a walking bomb? No, she said. Not that simple. I'm not made to explode. I'm made to become something. Become. What? She looked at him with tired eyes behind the dark visor. A monster. Hours later, Elias packed up the supplies. He knew they couldn't stay in the bunker much longer. The drones would be back soon, scanning the sector. They had to move. He looked over at her. She was trying to stand. Her body was still weak, but she was forcing herself to walk, limping, dragging her leg, holding onto the wall for support. You don't have to push yourself, Elias said. I do, she replied. Because I don't have time. Time for what? She didn't answer. Instead, she touched the side of her helmet, and for a moment, Elias saw something strange. Her mask glitched, just for a second, and beneath the shimmer, her real face flickered into view. He caught only a glimpse. But what he saw was not alien, not monster. It was human. Later that day, they moved out. The sun had turned white again, and the air was filled with dust. Burnt trees lined the hills. The ground was cracked and dry. Nothing moved, except the wind and the flies. Elias helped her walk. Every few minutes, she stumbled, but she didn't stop. "Why don't you let me carry you?" Elias asked. "Because," she said, "I need to stay strong. You'll die like this." She smiled behind the mask. Maybe that's what they planned. As they crossed a broken road, they heard it. A drone. Fast. Close. Loud. "Hide!" Elias whispered, pulling her into a ditch. They slid into a crack between two slabs of concrete. Dirt fell over them. The drone passed just above, scanning. Its red beam swept the ground like a slow, angry eye. They stayed still, not breathing. After a minute, it flew away. But the girl didn't move. Her body had gone still again. Elias turned to her. "Hey, you okay?" No answer. "Say something." Her chest moved, but her voice was quiet. "Almost gone. I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm breaking again." Then she fell into him, unconscious. Elias caught her. Her body felt colder than before. No, not now. Not like this. He checked her suit. The power was fading fast. If it shut down completely, she might never wake up again. He carried her to the nearest outpost, an old human station from the last war. It was broken, half covered in vines and dust, but the med room still worked. He placed her on the table and searched for tools. Inside her suit, he found a small access port, hidden behind her shoulder plate. Carefully, he connected the med unit, cables. A soft beep, then a screen lit up, and there it was. Her real name, her DNA code, her species, Human X hybrid warning, prototype class. Project Seraphim Elias stared at the words. "Human?" he whispered. But how? She didn't look human. Her voice, her blood, her tech, it was all alien, and yet her DNA said otherwise. Half human, half engineered. She had told the truth. She was made, not born, and she was never meant to survive. Hours passed. The machine stabilized her. She opened her eyes just before midnight. He was sitting beside her, holding a water pouch. "You lied," he said quietly. "I didn't lie," she replied. "I just didn't tell the full truth. You're one of us." "Half," she said. "The wrong half, according to both sides." "Why did they make you?" She looked up at the ceiling. Her voice was steady now. "They wanted a soldier. One who could walk into any species world and become one of them. My body can shift, change, adapt." "They made a shapeshifter?" "Yes," she said. "But they didn't plan for something else." "What?" "I learned how to feel." Silence. Then Elias asked, "And your mask?" She touched it slowly. "This mask keeps my body from shifting by accident. If it comes off too long, I lose control." Elias stepped back. "So if I remove it, you might see who I really am," she said softly. "But you might also see me become something else." "Something dangerous." She looked at him. "No," she whispered. "Something free." And then just before the power flickered again, she reached up and held his hand. "If I die, Elias, don't remember me as a weapon." He nodded. "I won't." But deep inside, he wondered if she was made to be a monster. Why did she cry like a child when she thought no one was looking? The next morning, a shadow passed over the ruined outpost. Elias looked up. It wasn't a drone. It was something much bigger. A ship, high above, silent and black like a cut in the sky. It moved too smoothly, without sound. Elias watched it float over the hills and disappear behind the clouds. He had never seen a ship like that, not even during the Great Collapse. "What was that?" he whispered. From behind him, the girl spoke. Her voice was low and calm. "They're looking for me." She sat up slowly. Her body was stronger today. The med unit had repaired part of her damaged nervous system. The glowing lines in her suit were stable now, but her mask stayed on. She hadn't removed it, not yet. You said they? Elias asked. Who exactly? Is they? She didn't answer right away. Finally, she said, the architects. Elias frowned. That's just a myth. Ghosts from before the war. They're real, she said. They built me. Why? To test something. To test you. Me? Not just you, she said. All humans. The old command terminal still worked in the outpost. Elias powered it up. As the screen flickered to life, he tried to connect to the main relay tower. No signal. They've jammed everything, he muttered. The girl stood behind him. They don't want anyone to know I'm alive. You mean they think you're dead? I was supposed to be, she said. I escaped during the shutdown of Project Seraphim. They purged the lab and erased the records. I was the only one left. Elias turned. Why did you run? Because they told me I had no soul. That line stopped him. Elias stared at her mask, unable to see her eyes. No soul, he repeated. They believed I was just code and flesh, a perfect weapon. But I proved them wrong. How? I disobeyed. That night they stayed quiet in the bunker, but neither of them slept. Elias sat near the window, watching the hills. The girl sat in the dark, her hands resting on her knees. He wanted to ask more, but something about her silence made him stop. Then suddenly, she spoke. I remember the first time I felt pain. Elias turned. In the lab? He asked. She nodded. They burned me, not to test my body, but to test if I would cry. I didn't. So they said I was ready for war. She looked at her hands. But I wasn't. Elias walked over and sat beside her. Do you remember your name? He asked. She shook her head. They erased it when I was transferred. I was just called Subject 13. That's not a name, Elias said. That's a number. I know, she whispered. There was a long silence. Then he said, How about I give you one? She turned her head toward him. He thought for a moment, then smiled slightly. Nova. Why Nova? She asked. Because when stars die, they explode into something bright, beautiful, powerful. She was quiet. Then she whispered, Nova. I like it. Just before dawn, the outpost trembled. A faint rumble, then silence. Elias ran to the door and looked outside. Far in the distance, a massive black pillar was rising out of the ground. It unfolded like a tower of shadow, reaching toward the sky. Nova stood behind him. They found us, she said. Elias turned. That fast? They always knew, she replied. They just waited to see if I'd wake up. Suddenly, the terminal beeped. A message appeared on the screen, coded, pulsing. Elias looked at it. What is this? Nova stepped forward. Her fingers danced across the screen. Then the message opened. Coordinates. Countdown, 24 hours. Target, Earth Sector. 9, Human Refugee Camp. Purpose. Eradication. Elias felt his blood turn cold. They're going to bomb the refugee camp? He asked. Nova nodded. To make sure no one knows I survived. But there are thousands of people there. I know. We have to stop it. She looked at him, and for the first time, he saw fear in her body. I want to, she said, but I don't know if I'll survive the journey. You don't? Have a choice now, Elias said. We both don't. He packed what little they had, food, power cells, med kits. He helped her into a camo cloak. She still moved with pain, but her strength was returning. As they stepped out of the bunker, Elias turned to her. Nova, I need to ask one more thing. She stopped. If you ever lose control, if whatever's inside you wakes up and you can't stop it, she nodded. I'll warn you. No, Elias said. Promise me you'll let me stop it. Nova didn't answer for a long time. Then quietly she said, I trust you. As they walked toward the rising light of day, the black tower far. Behind them began to hum louder. In the sky, more ships appeared, silent, watching. But Elias wasn't watching the sky anymore. He was watching Nova, because he had a feeling. The closer they got to the refugee camp, the closer they got to the truth, the more dangerous her mask would become. And when she finally removed it, it wouldn't just show who she was, it might show what she was never meant to be. The desert. Winds howled across the dry rocks. Elias and Nova moved fast, keeping low, always checking the sky. The strange black tower behind them had gone quiet, but the feeling of being watched never left. "They're tracking me," Nova said. "Even now." Elias looked around. "Then how are they not stopping us?" "They want to see what I'll do next." As they walked, Nova touched her chest. The glowing lines in her suit were flickering. "It's getting worse," she said. "What is?" "The seal holding the core inside me. If it breaks—" She didn't finish. Elias knew what she meant. Something inside her, something powerful, was trying to get out. They found an old rail tunnel buried under rock. It was abandoned and cold, but it gave shelter. While Elias started a small heat cell, Nova sat down near the wall. Her hands trembled. "Are you okay?" he asked. She didn't answer. Then she said, "Elias, do you want to know why I didn't die that night?" He looked at her, waiting. "I was built to survive anything. Pain, fire, pressure, even death. But—" "You were dying in my arms," Elias said. "Yes," she whispered, "because I chose to." He stared at her, confused. "I don't understand." "I shut my own system down," she explained. "I didn't want to go back to them. I wanted it to end." "Why?" "Because I was tired of being a weapon, tired of hurting people." Her voice shook now. "I didn't think anyone would hold me the way you did. Not like that. Not with kindness." The silence in the tunnel grew heavy. Then she reached up and slowly touched the edge of her mask. "I need to show you something," she said. Elias's heart started beating faster. "Are you sure?" he asked. "No," she whispered. "But you need to know." She pressed her fingers to the side of the mask. A hiss of air escaped. Small locks on the sides clicked open. The glow from her chest grew brighter. She paused. "I haven't done this since I was created," she said. "Promise you won't look at me like I'm a monster." "I promise," Elias said softly. She lifted the mask, just enough. And for a second, Elias saw something he could not explain. Eyes that were too bright for any human, silver skin like glass, moving like water, lines of light moving under her. Flesh, like a star, was trapped inside her. Then she dropped the mask again, gasping. "I can't show more," she said. "Not yet." Elias didn't speak. He just nodded. He didn't look afraid. He looked amazed. "You're not a monster," he said. Later that night, while Nova slept lightly, Elias checked the old satellite scanner in the tunnel. It was weak, but working. He scanned nearby airspace, and he saw them. 3 ships, moving fast toward the refugee camp. He had no more than 10 hours. He looked back at Nova. She was breathing slowly, peacefully, and for a moment he wondered, was she really their only hope? At dawn, they started moving again. Nova walked slower now. The energy inside her was unstable. The suit was no longer controlling it. "If we don't reach the camp before the countdown ends," Elias said, "thousands will die." Nova nodded. "We will make it." "But how can we warn them?" Elias asked. "They'll never trust us." Nova looked at him. "I don't need their trust. I just need one chance to connect to the central defense node." That node was deactivated years ago. She smiled under the mask. "Not for someone like me." As they climbed the final ridge, Nova suddenly stopped. "What is it?" Elias asked. She raised her head. I hear them. He looked around. What do you mean? I don't hear anything. I do, she whispered. Voices, signals. They're close. A dark shape rose over the hill. A scout drone. Black, round, fast. Nova threw Elias behind a rock and raised her hand. A beam of light shot from her palm, crackling blue, sharp like lightning. The drone exploded in the air. She fell to her knees. Too soon, she gasped. My systems can't keep balance. Elias helped her up. We're almost there. In the distance, smoke rose from the camp's towers. They reached the outer edge of the refugee camp. Old fences, broken turrets, starving families. A guard saw them and raised his weapon. Stop! Who are you? We need to speak to your commander, Elias shouted. Not with her, the guard yelled, pointing at Nova. She's not the enemy. Elias yelled back. But more soldiers gathered. Guns raised. Nova took a step forward, and then her mask split open, just for a second. The soldiers saw her glowing face, and everyone stopped moving. One soldier whispered, That's impossible. Another dropped his weapon. Is that a seraphim? No, Elias said, holding her steady. She's something more. The soldiers stood frozen. Their guns shook in their hands. They had seen many things during the war, but never this. The glowing light from Nova's face wasn't just strange. It was sacred. Like seeing a ghost from an old story. A myth. She's not human, one guard whispered. No, Elias replied, stepping forward with his hands raised. But she's not your enemy either. The commander of the camp, a tall woman named Rhea, arrived quickly, holding a pulse rifle and wearing armor scratched by time. She looked at Nova, then at Elias. What's your business here? She asked coldly. They're coming, Elias said. 3 ships, less than 5 hours away. Rhea narrowed her eyes. How do you know that? I scanned them. Nova can explain the rest. Rhea stared at Nova. You better speak fast. Masked girl. If you lie, you die. Nova didn't flinch. She stepped forward, slowly pulling her mask up. Not all the way, just enough to show the silver skin and bright, living light under it. My name is Nova Unit 9, she said clearly. I was made by the architects of the Orion Project. My creators are dead. My orders are broken. I've heard of the Orion Project, Rhea said slowly. Didn't they build living weapons? Nova nodded. Yes, I was one of them. But, you're here to warn us? Nova's voice cracked. I don't want to be a weapon anymore. The silence grew heavy. Then Rhea slowly lowered her gun. You have 10 minutes to prove yourself. Or I end it here. Nova nodded. Where's your defense node? Buried in the comm center, Rhea said. Hasn't worked in 10 years. Nova looked at Elias. It will now. They moved fast, through the broken alleys of the camp, past hungry eyes, past weak children clutching their blankets. Some whispered prayers, some whispered fears, others just watched her glow as she passed by. Inside, the comm center wires hung from ceilings. Screens were cracked. Terminals were dead. Nova stepped forward and knelt beside the old control core. She placed her palm on the glass. Her body pulsed once. Blue veins of light rushed through the broken circuits. Screens flickered alive. Defense systems hummed. The entire camp woke up. Rhea's mouth opened slightly. You're interfacing with it directly? Nova's voice became distant, almost robotic. I'm inside the grid, downloading enemy formation, syncing satellite memory, connecting to sky cannons, 5 minutes until system lock. Elias stood beside her, watching her glow brighter and brighter. You're burning energy too fast, he said. Nova's eyes flickered. I have to, or everyone here will die. Outside, alarms rang. People screamed. The sky changed. 3 black. Ships broke through the clouds. They came like sharks, fast, silent, deadly. Rhea barked orders. "Get to the towers! Load the guns! Shield the children!" Elias ran to help. Nova stayed kneeling, her whole body shaking now. Her systems were not just overheating, they were cracking. "Targeting now," she said weakly. Then a voice spoke, inside her mind. A voice she hadn't heard in years. Nova 9. "Return." "You are still ours," she gasped. "No, not anymore." "Disobey and you'll be erased," the voice replied. Her eyes glowed brighter. "I'd rather die free than live as a tool." Her body jolted. Static ran through her arms, but she didn't stop. The first missile hit the camp's shield. A wave of red fire roared across the sky. Civilians screamed. Soldiers fired back. Sky cannons, revived by Nova, opened fire. Blue beams lit the sky. One of the enemy ships veered off course. The second ship dropped soldiers, tall black machines with glowing red eyes. They began marching toward the outer fences. Elias fought beside Rhea, using an old railgun. "Where's Nova?" Rhea shouted. "She's still connected," Elias yelled. "She's holding the system together." "She'll die. She knows." Inside the comm center, Nova's body was flickering like a dying star. The connection was burning her from the inside. Her fingers melted into the glass. Her voice was breaking. "Last command. Target ship core. Overload fusion drive." A final. Pulse burst from her hand. In the sky, the biggest ship began to shake. Then, boom, a sun exploded above them. Fire, heat, silence, then cheers. One enemy ship, gone. But Nova didn't move. Elias rushed in. She was on the ground, barely breathing. Smoke rose from her chest. He held her in his arms again, just like before. "Nova," he whispered. "Don't leave." She touched his face weakly. "Do you want to know my real name?" she whispered. He nodded, tears in his eyes. "It's not Nova," she coughed. "It's Alira." And then her eyes closed. Elias sat on the cold floor of the comm center. Elira's body lay still in his arms, no glow, no sound, only silence. The battle outside was won, for now, but inside him, everything felt lost. The camp was safe. The people were cheering. But Rhea looked at Elias and didn't speak. She could see it in his eyes. Alira was more than just a machine to him. She was someone who mattered. They placed her body gently, inside the old medical pod. The screen above blinked red. Life signs, 0%. System core, shut down. Memory unit, damaged. Rhea stood behind Elias. She saved us all. But her systems are fried. She gave everything. Elias didn't answer. He just stared at her silver skin. Her mask still rested beside her head, cracked, glowing faintly. He whispered, "Elira, why did you call yourself that?" Later that night, he returned to the pod alone. He sat beside her. He held her cold hand, and he remembered how she protected the child in the refugee line, how she held back her pain in the desert, how she fought to stay free. He leaned closer. He placed the mask in her hand, and suddenly, the screen blinked, just once. Blip. "Memory unit! Accessing!" Elias jumped to his feet. "Rhea!" he shouted. "Come here, now!" The screen flickered again. A recording began to play. Fuzzy at first, then clear. A younger voice. Elira's voice. "I am Elira, not Nova Unit 9. That name was forced on me. But I remember who I was before they turned me into a tool." Elias watched, in silence. So did Rhea. The recording continued. "I was born Alira Soren on the moon city of Lys. My parents were scientists. They built life from light. When the war came, they were forced to hand over their research. I was taken too. She paused in the recording. When I woke up, I wasn't me anymore. My skin was silver. My blood was light. But deep inside, I never forgot my real name. Rhea swallowed hard. This means she wasn't just a machine. She was human, once. Elias nodded slowly. She always was. Suddenly, another message popped up. Emergency backup, active. Core repair possible. Needs human bond signal. Rhea frowned. What does that mean? Elias felt it. Strange warmth in his chest. She connected to me before. Trusted me. Maybe that bond is the key. He placed both hands on her face. He spoke clearly. Elira, come back. Please. Nothing happened at first. Then, one spark. Her fingers twitched. The glow returned, dim but alive. Her eyes opened halfway. Elias? He gasped. You're alive. I don't know how long, she whispered. They're still watching, listening. Who? She coughed again. The ones who made me, not the scientists, the ones who stole the project. They think I'm still a weapon. At that moment, alarms rang again. But this time, not from the sky, from below. The ground trembled. Rhea looked at the scanner. This isn't another ship. This is something buried. Under us. The camp shook. Then the ground cracked open outside the walls. From beneath the sand, a hidden metal gate rose. A door, huge and old, covered in alien symbols. Elira sat up, weakly. No, not now. Not here. Elias held her steady. What is it? She stared at the rising gate. That's where they kept us. The other units. Dormant. Sleeping. Waiting for a signal. Rhea's eyes widened. You mean there are more like you? Elira nodded slowly. But they're not free. If they wake up, they'll destroy everything. A huge hiss echoed through the air. The metal door began to open. Inside, shadows moved, one by one. Tall figures stepped out. Silver bodies, no masks, just blank glowing eyes. 5 of them, each one different in design, but all built like her. They walked silently toward the camp. Not fast, not slow, just steady. Like machines with a purpose. Rhea ordered. Soldiers to the wall. Elias helped Elira to her feet. She looked afraid for the first time. They're not like me. They don't remember who they were. They can't stop, Elias asked. Then how do we stop them? She looked at him with burning eyes. I have to go to them alone. No way. I made them. I can reach them. You're not strong enough. I have to try. The 5 units reached the camp walls, but they didn't attack. They just stood, waiting, watching, listening. Elira stepped forward, her glow slowly returning, her voice soft but strong. Brothers, sisters, wake up. Not as weapons, but as people. No reply. Then one of them, Unit 7, raised a hand. A bright energy ball charged at the center. Elias yelled, "They're going to fire!" But Elira didn't move. She raised her hand and said one word, Elira. The 5 silver units stood still at the camp gate. Their blank eyes glowed like cold moons. Elira faced them alone. Her own light was faint, but brave. Wind pushed gray dust between them. Soldiers on the wall held their breath. Elias waited only a few steps behind, ready to run to her if she fell. A name that breaks chains Elira lifted her cracked mask high so every unit could see it. I was once Nova 9, she called, her voice clear. But my real name is Elira Soren, Unit 7's. Head tilted. A low hum came from its chest. Then, in a slow, broken whisper, it answered, Elira. Soren. The other 4 copied the word, soft like children learning to speak for the first time. A small smile touched Elira's lips. They still remember, she told Elias without turning. The kill signal, suddenly a harsh tone screamed from every unit's core. Red light flashed. They snapped back to battle stance. Remote command received. Execute purge far above. A distant black satellite flared bright red. The architects had sent the final order. Unit 3 raised an arm. Energy formed. Into a spear of light aimed at Elira. Elias shouted, "Elira, move!" She did not. Instead, she pressed one hand over her own chest. Silver skin cracked. Pure white light bled through. "I can overwrite the signal," she said calmly, though pain shook her voice. "But I must break my core open." "That will kill you," Elias said. "I already died once," she replied, eyes soft on him. "This time I choose how." 3. The last mask Elira turned to the camp. Thousands of refugees, soldiers, and children watching from behind fences. "No one here should live in fear again," she said. "Not humans. Not hybrids. Not anyone." She placed the mask over her heart like a shield. Tiny locks on its rim clicked open one last time. The mask dissolved into threads of blue light that wrapped around her body. Silver skin peeled away, revealing the starfire inside her, a blazing figure of pure energy shaped like a young woman. Every unit froze, their red command lights blinking in confusion. Elira spread glowing fingers toward them. "Remember the day before the lab." She spoke gently, her voice echoing inside every mind. "Remember your own names?" 4. Names. Reborn images flashed across the unit's eyes. Parents, homes, pets, childhood games. Tears, real tears, rolled down metal faces as memories returned. Unit 1 whispered, "My name, Cato." Unit 2, "Aya." Unit 3 lowered its weapon. "Miran." Unit 4 fell to its knees, voice shaking. "Tari." Unit 7, the first to speak, placed a hand on its chest. "Jalen." Red warning lights on their torsos blinked out. The kill signal lost its grip. The architects. Final strike high above, the black satellite charged a spear of plasma aimed straight at the camp. If it fired, nothing could survive. Elira looked up. "This ends now." She raised both hands. A pillar of light shot from her heart into the sky. The freed units stepped beside her. They added their beams, colors mixing into one bright shield. Metal groaned. Air burned. The earth shook. The satellite unleashed its plasma bolt. It hit the shield with the roar of a sun being born. For a long breath, everything turned white. A star born on Earth. When the glare faded, the sky was clear. Only drifting ashes of the satellite remained. Elira still floated above the ground, but her light flickered like a candle in wind. Elias ran forward, arms out. "Elira, come back!" She touched down, legs weak. Her new brothers and sisters caught her before she fell. "It's all right," she told them, smiling through pain. "You're free now." Her body dimmed further. "No," Elias begged, holding her glowing hands. "Stay. You have a life now." "I gave it," she said softly, "so they could have theirs." Her light shrank to a single ember in his palms. "Elira!" he cried. She leaned close, forehead to his. "Thank you for calling me by my real name." Then the ember lifted from his hands, rose into the sky, and blossomed into a small new star. Soft, golden, steady. Dawn after war morning light painted the camp silver and pink. The 5 freed hybrids helped fix broken walls and bury the lost. They no longer wore numbers. On their chests, they wrote their chosen names in simple chalk letters. Cato, Aya, Miran, Tari, Jalen. Rhea met them with open hands, not weapons. "Guardians," she called them. "Not soldiers." Elias stood on a hill outside the camp. In his hands lay Elira's empty mask, just cooled metal now. He placed it on a stone and whispered, "Rest above us. Shine bright." In the pale blue sky, that new star still glowed, small but impossible to miss. Sometimes it pulsed, almost like a quiet heartbeat. Elias felt it in his chest each time. A promise. Epilogue. Hope that never ends. Weeks passed. Word spread fast. The star was a girl who chose freedom over fear. The living weapons chose names over numbers. Humans and hybrids rebuilt together, and in every camp, every ruins town, children pointed to the sky and asked, "Who is that star?" The elders smiled and answered in simple words. "That is Elira Soren, the one who removed her mask so we could finally see who we really are." The children always replied with the same bright hope. "If she can shine, maybe we can too."